I'm here in my Jaguar, going to do some wiring. Just ignore that section, this is off a different car, this cover. And they deleted that obviously. But well, I don't know, about a month ago that fuse there blew. Not blew, it melted in half. So I was driving along and all of a sudden the aircon fan stopped blowing at me. So I changed the fuse. It should be 50 amp, that's what it says. And there's a Lucas, I don't know if I can zoom in on that. Well, that says Lucas 50 amp. Hang on. So that's the rated fuse that it should have. Lucas 50 amp, which is actually a continuous 25 amp, as you can see there. You've got to be careful of that with British fuses, because their continuous rating is half of its rating. So if you put a 50 amp American fuse in, that's a continuous 50 amps and you'll melt something. So I decided to put, which that was a good fuse I just showed, but I decided to put one of these in, a 30 amp fuse. So that does the trick. But whatever, damn thing. Hate this camera, you can only zoom once. So down here, if you can sort of see it, that's the fuse box, that one there's the new one. But I'm going to delete that circuit and put my own wiring in. Because those, you're running 2 blower fans off that one holder, it's just not enough. Especially now it's 30 something years old. It just gets hot. And it's pulling load through all of the standard wiring, so I'm going to get rid of that. Looks messy down here, but it isn't really. If you remember rightly, I manualised the climate control in this. So that switch there's for air conditioning. So that's off, on, that's full recirculate. And that, if you push that up, it turns the gearbox down here and cycles up towards heat mode. And push it down, it cycles towards cool mode. And it's idiot proof, so you can't overrun it. Once you get to maximum, it stops. I figured I'd just show that works. So at the moment you're in full cool mode. That's for the aircon on. That's full recirculate. This switch here is set to automatic at the moment. Okay, you got defrost high, auto low off. That one is disconnected fully. That used to be standard climate control. Turn that off. So if I push that, it operates the little gearbox in here. Might be out of here. Fan's on low. Don't know if you can hear that. But it'll slowly cycle towards cool. So it'll go through all the different modes. See, fan's just turned to low. Now it's gone to heat. Now it's changing the vents. This should all be automatic, but it's not. Now it's at full heat. Well, over this side, I pulled it all apart, taken the vent off. Like, there's the console. That cover should be on. And I've ripped all the relay box and everything out. The standard, I'll show you, that plug there goes to that plug there, and that's for the standard air conditioning amplifier, which is up here. So that's what runs the gearbox from standard. So this knob, if you turn that, the amplifier will control where the gearbox goes, depending on what that sensor up there says, because it's a cabin air temperature sensor, and there's a sensor on the driver's blower fan which works out outdoors temperature, and then this works out how hot it wants. That all pissed me off. It worked alright, but I just hated its programming, so I made my own. Well, here's the relay box for the fans. Now, I found the wire that I need to remove and reconnect my wiring to. Now, this is fully energized, and if you push the tabs, the fan starts. But there it is, there in the middle one with the screw, the brown wire. So I'm going to put a 50 amp feed to that with a 30 amp fuse, and that way it won't get hot. It's interesting boxes these are. If you go to Jaguar Series 2 or 3, they will have this, and even in a XJS, the earlier ones. There's all your fan speeds. That's low. That's medium high, medium low, high. Quite simple. Get a good shot of that. Medium high is the one that never comes on. We'll have to have a look at the gearbox and have a see. One of the other things I've done here is I've replaced or upsized the condensate drain on one side because it kept on damn well blocking. So they put things in, probably the original drains are as thick as this screwdriver. Absolute shit. So as you see, I put a decent one in. Nice 5/8 hose running into a nice smaller rubber hose, about 1/2 inch. So, killed. Little modification. Yeah, well, back to this. Yes, that main wire I need to change. It comes off the fuse box to the relay box here, the brown wire. I'm going to remove that and disconnect it. Now I'm going to wire that directly up to this bolt. And that's actually a main active that comes through the firewall. There's one on each side of the car. So I'm just going to have a nice 50 amp wire coming from that, going through a 30 amp fuse to another 50 amp wire to this. And that way it'll bypass all the standard electrics and it'll work a little better and everything will work a little better. This charger's working well. Just charging my car. Needed a little charge from all the hot weather and retest running the fans and everything. It's always good to keep your battery charged. Well, hearing all the workings of things, just down there, that's that bolt that goes through the firewall. It connects directly to the positive with a nice thick wire, and the starter motor connects to that. So that should be plenty of amps just to run the blower fan. Plenty. Well, I've removed the standard fuse. So with no fuse, just the relays go click, but nothing happens. That's it. So now I'll connect my wiring up, and that should be done. Well, there we go. It's probably the easiest wiring job I've had to do in ages. One wire. I've decided to put that there. I'll just put some tape next to it so there's no way it can go to earth. That's an easy accessible spot to get to. You almost don't have to take the cover off to do that. But yeah, they actually seem to work a little faster now. It's got just that little bit more. That's kind of nice. Even low's a bit faster. Carpet holding it on. Just touching. Cool. Alright, I'll put that back together. I'll tape this off because that was the standard wire. Before I do that, I'm going to replace that green wire. You can see the terminal's been getting a bit hot, and that's the main high. So I'm just going to cut the terminal off and put a new one on there. Now when I had that terminal off, I could spin this around and I could look at the medium-high relay windings, and look, I found a broken one. I've tested it and it works. Micro switches and everything are good. There's my problem. It's never worked since I had this car, but I didn't think it was much of an issue, but while I'm here I might as well fix it. Yeah. Oh, there we go, all done. And I resoldered the high-speed one too, because it looked like it was going to corrode off shortly. Now it all works. High's unplugged at the moment. But yeah, it all works. Cool. Oh, put it all back together now. Now I can put all the vents and covers back on. Just putting this back together and something's on me. Hey. All of a sudden something jumped on my back while I was down here. What you doing, kitty? What you doing? Yeah. Oh, you're so cute. No. I'll be using some electricity. Damn, those fans are working well now. That's really pulling some air. Cool. Oh, it's all back together nicely now. All works very nice. It blows a lot harder too. So beautiful. The main thing that made me want to do this especially is because the gauges weren't reading correct when you had the heat or the aircon fan on full. Like at idle when the engine was hot, this would go from reading a little bit over zero to a little bit under zero. You know, this would sink down to off charge at idle, which it probably is anyway. And the fuel and temperature gauge probably went down about 4 millimeters from where they would normally be if you didn't have the fan on. So that was telling me that the fans were taking too much load off the standard wiring. So now this is done, it should not affect the gauges at all having the fans running. Well, I figured I'd show the gearbox I kept referring to. So all those plugs at the bottom there are micro switches. Those loose wires are no longer needed because I've manualised it. A few bare tabs. There's the motor at the top. So fine. I'm going to try and hold the light and camera and everything just right. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Oh, there we go. So if I operate that switch on the console, it makes it all work. If I set it to automatic on the fan selector switch, and then go all the way cold, see how it works. And at the back, at the back there's some vacuum switches. There they are for the heater tap and all that. If I can get the light to stay there, I'll try and operate it so you can see those taps functioning. So I'll go all towards heat. There we go. Cool. Second tap's for another vent switch. And there's some rods that connect to that gearbox. See those rods there? They open and close the vents. So you should see them moving. All the vents moving. That's why it sounds like it loads up and then unloads. There's a fair bit of weight on it. So it just pulls the rods, puts everything where it should be. That's full heat and goes towards cold. Takes a little while. It's supposed to be fully automatic. It's nice, you can get it just exactly where you want it. Just the perfect temperature, everything. That's mixing the hot with the cool and all that other stuff. There we go. That's how that works. It's been fully manualised. The gearbox lives just behind here. There's the gear stick and all that. The gearbox